Up here recording a video, looking at section 8. So just kind of walk you through the calculator portion. So first thing you're going to want to do is graph your equation. So we have negative 16x squared plus 40x plus 4. Just double check you have this right. One common thing people forget is this power of 2. Make sure you have that power of 2, because if not, it's going to graph a line instead of a parabola. So that's kind of a negative way. I'm going to kind of show you how to do the window. I mean, press graph, you might be able to see your parabola pretty good. You might not be able to. One thing you could also do to kind of maybe help you with your window size is if you kind of go to your table of values, see how like big it gets. I mean, it looks like the highest I see it gets is 28 because all these other ones are negatives, which we don't really care about. So that's one thing you could also do, but it looks like the graph only goes up to like 20-ish. You could kind of look at your values, you can kind of mess and check, but like I said, X minimum is how far your graph goes, like how far you can see left. X max is how far you can see right on your graph. So I mean, really, we don't really need the negatives. You can even change that if you want, but it's not that big of a deal. It's really the Y values, like Y min is how far your graph you're going to be able to see down, and Y max is how far you can see up. Like you could even change this. Like since I saw 28, I usually like to just be a little bit safe, kind of like double it at least, or kind of close to that. So this actually looks better than what we saw in class. I mean, I can see a little bit better, I think. I mean, you could even keep adjusting it, but I mean, as long as you can see the maximum and you can see the x-intercepts, that's all you care about in terms of messing with your window. But once you got it here, we're going to do second trace. We're going to find our maximum first. So you should see like a flashing X. You might need to move it around to see it, but it does tell you the coordinates in the bottom left. Like that's where my cursor is right now. Like, so for example, if I like move it way down, like it's off the screen, like it's down at negative 28. So I need to keep moving it until I start to see it. But when it says left bound, just make sure your cursor is to the left of the maximum. Right bound, make sure it's to the right of the maximum. As long as you're past it, you're good. Press enter. Guess, just press enter one more time. You don't have to do anything there. And then your maximum is going to pop up. But depending on what they ask you, just make sure you're thinking about what the question is asking. This question asks us for the maximum height. So height's going to be our y value in this question. X was our t or time. So our maximum height would be 29. And then the next question we're trying to find is time to hit the ground. So that we're going to be looking at where it crosses here on the x-axis. You're going to be interested on the one furthest to the right because that's where it's going to be hitting the ground, not where it started, kind of idea. But to do that, you're going to use the 0 function. And how I'm getting to the screen, just to make sure I'm pressing second trace to get to this calculation menu. But 0 is what we're interested in. We're going to move our cursor. So this is going to be left bound. So it needs to be to the left of this. I know it's kind of hard to see, but that would be further to the left in terms of our x values. So really, it's going to look like it's above, but that really is left bound in terms of x values. Right bound, you need to move your x so it's past the x-axis or to the right. So move it as far as you want, but just press enter, press enter. You're going to see this is your 0. So, I mean, obviously your 0 is going to always be an x value and a y value of 0 because it's on the ground where you're not up or down at all. But this says round to the nearest hundredth, so 2.596. That 6 is going to round up, so that 59 is going to turn into a 60. So it'd be 2.60 seconds. This should have been 29 feet. To solve this, like to get your maximum height, you would have to find the vertex of your equation. You could do that with the negative b over 2a formula. That would give your axis of symmetry, and then you can plug that in to get your vertex. So it's hard for me to show, but you would have negative 40 over negative 32 because negative b over 2 times our a. If you simplify this, calculator, you get 1.25. So that would be the time, but we got to find the y value of my vertex. So you would have to plug that back into the equation for t. Like put this in your calculator. And then you should see you also get 29. So if you're doing it by hand, that's how you would have to find your maximum. You'd have to find your axis of symmetry and then find your, plug it back in to get the y value. So that's something you won't have to know on your test. I mean, unless you're planning on using that for this method here. To get the x-intercepts, you have to do quadratic formula. So you'd have to like solve this out. I don't think I'm going to work this out, but you would do quadratic formula for this question, and you're going to get two answers, but one of your answers is going to be negative, so you can't have negative time, so your answer is going to be the positive. You should see you get that 2.59, blah, 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 and you'll get the same answer. So look at the review key. If not, I did work those out by hand. It's kind of awkward for me to type here on the computer to do those, but hopefully this helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you guys tomorrow.